All right. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the TopCup podcast, a weekly conversational podcast where two buds get together and talk out their butts to fill your cups with a little bit more of them hard-hitting topics. I am today's host, John Avidas, brought to you by Coca-Cola, along with the valiant and ever hardworking Daniel Arroyo, who is suffering from an injury while on the job in service of you. Daniel, say hello.
I cut my hand.
It was for the lights. You're welcome. I'm trying to get you that experience.
Yeah.
If you like what you're seeing and you want to see more, perhaps come visit us here on YouTube. If you're seeing us on YouTube, then subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, do something. And if not, well, then just follow us here on the Spotify's, on the Google Podcasts, and any other podcasting platform that you listen to, because we're probably on it. And if not, well, then let us know, and maybe we'll be on it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how this thing works. We'll see. Daniel, how you been?
Well, I cut my hand.
Other than that,
other than that, not terribly bad. Everything was actually pretty chill up until I cut my hand.
I feel like that's gonna be a recurring theme today. Just like, yeah, life was great, and then I cut my hand.
No, everything's fine. Everything's fine. I mean, the world keeps turning. Shitty people keep doing shitty things.
And every day, right? It's like another shitty person. Every day.
But I got to watch both Tron movies back to back for the past 2 days. So that was pretty dope. I had some bomb ass Chinese food yesterday. Also pretty dope. So yeah, it's been good. Tuck up my hand. And our numbers are up. Which is nice to see. We've been Juanis actually commented.
And then your friend David also commented the other day as well, right?
Yeah. Told me that I have an audio problem.
I'm just glad that that's what he took from that episode, and not that I have the audio problem. I'm like, yeah, you're the one over here saying all the thing. I'm the one that has the knowledge. So I wonder how I got the knowledge. I'm just, Daniel's the problem. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah, but the other day, something happened, Daniel. Right? Someone, going back to The Last of Us. Some shitty shit happened.
Shitty shit tends to happen because of shitty people. Yes. For those of you who stay out of the news for a good reason. People. we've talked about how people are so fucking upset about The Last of Us 2 and things that happened in The Last of Us 2. But not too long ago, I think probably a week ago now, Laura Bailey tweeted out. Laura Bailey, who is a very prominent voice actor,
and plays the role of Abby.
Yes, she plays the role of Abby in The Last of Us 2. But you may also know her from various other things, including she does a lot of DC stuff, actually.
Yeah, I know
DC
her.
cartoons, some Dragon Ball stuff.
Wait, who is she in Dragon Ball?
Well, let's find out. Vamp, John. Vamp. Oh, she does voice of young Trunks.
Young Trunks. Interesting.
Young Trunks. She voices Lust in Fullmetal Alchemist.
Oh, okay. I can see it.
And I know she's done video games. I know damn well she's done video games before.
Look, I'll give all the voice actors for Trunks, round of applause and everything, but there is only one Trunks voice actor that, really embodies young Trunks. And that is, is it Kaiser Neko? I don't remember which one of them voiced it, but the guys from Team 4 Star. I'm so glad I'm not glad. I'm so sad
Speaking of Tron, she voices the Grid in Tron Evolution, I think, which is
Isn't that the game?
the game. Yeah, fuck. I didn't know that. That's wonderful.
Did she come
I'm
back
so
for
glad that I
Kingdom
know that
Hearts?
now.
Normally, Kingdom Hearts has a lot of the original voice actors.
Kingdom Hearts 3, Kingdom Hearts 3.
Kingdom Hearts 2.
Oh, she plays Supergirl in Injustice 2, who is basically the main character.
Yeah.
But yeah, she I don't know, but she was in Disney Infinity. I know that. I'm not seeing Kingdom Hearts 3.
Hmm.
I may be looking over it. Anyhow, and she is going to voice Natasha Romanoff / Black Widow in the upcoming Avengers game. She's a great voice actor. She's a great voice actor, and I've never seen her get shit before.
Yeah, done a lot of stuff that probably people really love. Characters.
Look her up. She has a fucking huge category.
Yes.
Huge category.
But yeah, she does. And a lot of other people do. But my main point is, I just want to focus before you get into what you're saying is, do you know that these actors and actresses, voice actors and, normal actors, all of them have
catalog. I was looking at categories, but
okay.
she has a huge catalog.
Yes. All of them have done multiple characters throughout their lives and profession. Just remember that. And a lot of them are probably characters that you really enjoyed in other shows or other games or movies. And some of them might even be your favorite characters. Just remember that. Okay, now Daniel, talk about how one thing can apparently spoil all of that.
So, I have the tweet that Laura Bailey posted on Twitter. And there's going to be a lot of expletives. But hey, nothing new to the show. But I will avoid any spoilers that are left in this. So, Laura Bailey tweeted out on July 20th. Wow, so it was some time ago. July 20th. Quote, man, I try to only post positive stuff on here, but sometimes it just gets a little overwhelming. I blacked out some of the words because, spoilers. Side note, thank you to all the people sending me positive messages to balance it out. It means more than I can say. Heart emoji. So I'm going to read you the fucking tweets that she put out.
Go ahead.
Just to preface this, women getting shit, especially well-known women in the games industry or really whatever, they get a lot of shit for absolutely no reasons for really shitty people, and these people called trolls, whether they know it or not, whether they acknowledge themselves as trolls or not. You tell somebody shitty shit on the internet because of the work that they do, and it is completely unfounded on any type of fucking real reason why they should be getting shit, then you are a troll. Anyhow, first one goes off. I am going to kill you because you blacked out in The Last of Us Part 2. I'm going to find where you live and slaughter you for what you did. Redacted. Mark my fucking words. I will stab you. Just want to say you in all caps. Not her character, mind you. They put you in all caps just so specifically directed at Laura Bailey. Just want to say you should die, bitch. Fuck you, you ruined it. Next one. I hope your parents die by a hard cancer for redacted. I will find you and I will kill your kid for that. Just wait for that. And then the last one, finally. Fuck you, dumb Abby bitch. Go fuck yourself.
Jesus.
So, people,
God.
let's talk about how you treat others. First of all, what the fuck? What the fuck puts someone on such a high horse that they think just because they paid $60, anywhere between 16 and 120, possibly, maybe a little more.
The collectors or whatever, yeah.
Where in any type of social contract, where on your receipt, let's say that, where on your receipt does it say that you have absolutely every right to tell someone to go die because and essentially threaten their family because you don't like what their character did in their role in the video game. I mean, yeah, you know, First Amendment and shit, but like, why you gonna do that? This person put so much work into this for you, for the consumer, you, the fan, the player, the consumer, whatever you want to fucking call yourself. They put their heart and soul into these performances, and don't tell me they didn't, because I have seen these people work because they put behind the scenes stuff up.
Yeah, you could like
they pour their heart into it.
Like watch some of the documentaries. Like they go hard. Like the God of War one was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It was a really good one. And like yeah, those actors are like when you hear the like when you're in game and you see them yelling at each other, they're doing that mocap still in studio. Like they're still looking straight at each other in their eyes, yelling at their top of their lungs. And I'm confident that the film crew is there going like, I know this is just a scene and it's not real, but fuck. Like you feel it.
People feel that shit, especially when they're working on a project. And let's get this shit out of the way too really quickly. If you don't think that voice actors are real actors, you can go fuck yourself or educate yourself.
Yeah. Whatever
order you want to do that in. I'm not going to try to control you, but either way, you don't I don't know. I feel very strongly about things having to do with voice actors because it is something that I am interested in. It's something that I'm passionate about. It's something that I would absolutely love to do. Like if I could voice some of my favorite characters and be that person for other people, then I would do that. You know, like that it's very close to me. So I feel very, very strongly about these things, but I also feel very strongly about treating people like shit and being an asshole because you didn't like something that you chose to buy. You know that you're not, again, and it goes back to like people feeling that they're promised stuff from creators, you know, that they're entitled to things from creators, like we talked about last week. I don't understand that frame of mind because you're not. No one's entitled to shit from another person. They choose to give it to you. You're going in as part of a transaction. They didn't promise that this person's character was not going to act this way. And then you play it and all of a sudden it happens. You're just like, you broke the rules of our contract. Now I get to fucking send death threats to another person who was just doing her job. And mind you, doing it right since she got this fucking reaction out of you. Yeah,
like that. I was having a long conversation with Brianna and my two other roommates. Granted, we were drunk, so it's kind of amazing that we were even having this conversation for Brianna's birthday the other day. But we went to like a long conversation about like The Last of Us 2 and how, you know, a lot of fans got mad obviously over some of the choices and some of the actions. And I was saying like, you know, for what it's worth, I don't really have issues with the game entirely. I don't have issues with a lot of it. I think a lot of it's really well done. My main issues are mainly just like, I think they could have emphasized some points a little bit more because they do it for some, but not for all, when it's like, could probably be for all. And then just some like choice, like, maybe this part could have gone down here. Or maybe this part could have gone over here. But other than that, I think a lot of it was like really well done. And we were talking, and like one of the things is like, you know, if you hate Abby and you are like, you don't even, there's not a fiber of your being that could even like possibly like Abby, then that game is doing something right. Because that's what it wants you. You do not want to like Abby at all. Like, that is not what her intention is as a character. But I just want to say, for the most part, in the beginning, that's how it is. And that is, but that doesn't mean that's who the actor is. And you can attribute that to what's his name, the voice actor of or not the voice, the actor of Joffrey from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's Jack Gleason.
Jack Gleason. Okay. Yeah, no, like, he got a lot of shit as well, like, for his role as Joffrey. And it's like, a lot of people just seem to not be able to make that disconnect between actor and character. Like, yeah, the dude in Game of Thrones, Joffrey, is a dick. He deserves to die so much. Like,
he was a character.
He is horrible. But as of the actor, he is so fucking good. If he can make you hate that character, like, that means he is doing his job right in the best kind of way. But what some people don't seem to understand is that doesn't mean that's how that person is. A lot of people are like, oh, you know, like, oh, he's a horrible person. How could you, like, how else could, like, a good person act out like this kind of a horrible character so easily or so well or so perfectly? And yeah, you can like,
because they're good at
because they're good at their jobs. And yeah, sure, maybe you can like point out a few bad apples where like it turns out that the actor himself is actually just a shitty person, but like that's one in few. But like, I think a lot of people don't make that disconnect, and they end up trying to prove like as much as they can like that person is bad. Like, they'll go like, maybe like with Jack Gleason, I don't know if this is what happened, but I wouldn't be surprised is if like people start looking at like a lot of things he's done in the past and stuff like that, like not necessarily even truly bad things, but just like, oh, look, you have to be a certain kind of fucked up to do that or to say that. So that makes sense as to how he's like, he's not really acting for his role. He really is horrible. Look at that one thing he did all those years ago, or that one small thing he did in this one show. Like, clearly he's actually a horrible person. In reality, it's like, the fuck? Like, no, he's just really fucking good. That's
stitching together a narrative, and it's just because you don't like the character that you portrayed. And honestly, if you're gonna get mad at anybody, get mad at the fucking writer, right? Because the writer and the actor, even the director, the fucking producer, the casting director, like, they all work in tandem to make this a person that you are to hate. Because that is a character that is made, not the fucking face that they put onto the character. That's just their job.
But even then, like, you can't hate on them because that's that character's role. The character's role is for you to hate that person. Like, otherwise, what's the point of villains? You know, like, what's the point of villains if you're supposed to like them? Sure, really well villains make it hard. Like if you can write an amazing villain if you like them, because that makes it harder for you to be like, yeah, screw that guy. Like, for instance, what's his name from Luke Cage?
Fuck, I know his character's name was Cottonmouth, but I can't remember like his character's like comic name or like street name, I guess. I don't know, but his like crime lord name was like Cottonmouth, and he didn't like people calling him for, I'm sure, obvious reasons. But I can't remember his name, but the main character, fucking God, why can't I remember his name? Anyway, the main one of the main villains from Luke Cage. Yeah,
he did his role so well, and you like at some point go like, I really like this guy. Like, it's really like an issue where it's like, he is correct.
His name was Cornell Stokes.
Cornell Stokes. He's correct, and you agree with his vision to an extent, and it's really just like how he goes about achieving that vision is like questionable. But like other than that, like when
same thing for Michael B. Jordan's character in Black Panther.
right, exactly.
Like, yeah, he has a good vision. It's just, you know, the way he goes about it. That's what makes you empathize with him, because he's fighting for reasons that are very relevant to what's happening in the world.
Yeah, but like though that's like that's an instance where like you like the villain, but like I said, but for the most part, like most villains, like a relatively easy written villain is just a person that is just like horrible piece of shit that you're like, fuck this guy, you know, in every capacity. But that doesn't mean that is who the actor that portrays them is.
And since we're in the realm of Disney, this kind of harkens back to Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Star Wars: The Last Jedi, where the actor Kelly Marie Tran portrayed her character Rose, who admittedly, through no fault of her own, because she did her job well. There's no going around the fact that she did her fucking job well. But you know how you feel about Rose and how you feel about her and Finn's excursion on a fucking casino planet that they went to. God, I usually remember the name.
Tatooine.
Is not Tatooine. But how you feel about Rose's story in The Last Jedi is definitely up to you, because it's your opinion. But most people don't, you know, they just don't watch the movie. They don't like the movie. They don't pursue any type of plan to cyberbully this woman off of social media, which is exactly what happened. Like, people tore into her and forced her off of social media. She went dark for at least weeks. Like, what the hell is your problem?
Well, I want to say something, two things. And one of them kind of leads into another topic that we have. But the first one is like, again, that's an instance where maybe the character wasn't great. Maybe you didn't like that. But that's not the actor's fault. That would just be, maybe it wasn't great writing. Maybe it wasn't great directing, you know? I'm not saying send all your bullshit death threats or anything to those writers or anything. It just, you know, it just was something that happened. It shouldn't be taken out on anyone in the cast or the crew. Just be like, oh, I just wish that was written better or done better, and move the fuck on. Too bad.
Yeah.
That's it. The second thing I wanted to get in is where you were saying, like with her, where she got essentially bullied off social media. And it kind of will lead into our second topic of cancel culture. And like how rampant it's seeming, and how vicious it can be. I just want to point out that anyone that says that what happened to Kelly, right? Kelly Marie
Tran.
Yeah. Anyone that wants to say that isn't cancel culture, you're stupid. It is. You bullied a individual to the point where they had to get off of something or stop doing something. You essentially canceled them. Maybe you didn't cancel them in the sense of like they're not an actor anymore, but you essentially tore into a person enough that you made them think that they had to like seclude themselves. Yes, Daniel.
If I can interject really quickly, if you Google the word cancel culture or the phrase cancel culture, first thing that comes up is online shaming.
Yeah.
That is essentially what it is.
And it
can take on very many forms, but it's cyberbullying. It's online shaming.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be.
Some of them are used some of them are used in a positive manner, but then again, it can also be used as cyberbullying. Yeah. Like with Kelly Marie Tran.
And shaming doesn't necessarily have to be justified, you know. None of this is justified. It's just people being assholes. But yeah, so I just want to make that a point, and that can go into more current day situations where you have people like Jenna Marbles, who is a prominent and a big part of the YouTube community. She was one of the OGs, like one of the very first and biggest channels. She quit YouTube. As of right now, it's indefinite. Was she being accused of certain things that she did in the past? Yes. Does that make it right? No. She has, on multiple occasions, apologized for all of that. She has, like, I can't even think of the word, but basically she hates that she did that, and she accepts that she made a bunch of mistakes.
She's remorseful.
She's remorseful, yeah. And if she were in that same position again, she would not do the same mistakes. But nonetheless, people gave her so much shit about it that she essentially quit YouTube. And for probably Twitter and everything else, social media, I would assume, because, you know, and I want to make this another point where it's like with a lot of these big name people, you have to remember one of the reasons why they end up doing that isn't because like, oh, you won. These people realize that they were bad people and that they are giving up their platform because, you know, they accept that they were horrible and whatever. It's not that. You attack this person to the point where every waking day they are just being sent nothing but hate. And it goes back to that saying, you know, 10 people can give you a compliment, but one person can give you a criticism. You're going to remember that one criticism more than you're going to remember those 10 compliments. So, yeah, I just wanted to point out, like, anyone that says like stuff like that isn't cancel culture, it is. It's also cyberbullying. It's cancel culture. How it is right now, this as a violent, toxic, like thing, I guess, is in a sense a form of cyberbullying. But I want to go in and elaborate a little bit that when Daniel and I are saying cancel culture, we are not saying that is the same as holding individuals accountable for actions that they have done in the past. Right. You know, there are a lot of people that are trying to say, oh, you know, you're not going to get canceled unless you were bad. Well, that's not necessarily true. You know, there's a difference between the two. You know, you can call out a person's actions and hold them accountable for like horrible acts that they've done in the past that you know have hurt multiple people throughout their lives. But that is not the same as the cancel culture that we're talking about. Cancel culture that we're talking about is just like essentially people attacking others more or less just so that way they can feel a little bit better about themselves. Or at least that's how I see it. You know, it's just like you kind of go in the whole, if I can prove everyone around me has done something bad or is a bad person, then by default, I become a much better person. I am amazing, you know, and
yeah.
that's,
yeah, it's definitely like a, I don't want to say a pride thing, but like it's fuck. Where's it from? I'm pretty sure it's from a superhero movie. I could be mistaken. But it's a quote from this movie that says, if you can make God bleed, the people will cease to believe in him. So I feel like a lot of people have that type of mindset. It's like, well, you know, why the fuck, you know, and it's not every person that is trying to quote unquote cancel someone. It's but I'm sure that mindset is still out there where it's like, well, these people look up to this person, you know, it's a false idol, like why is this person so special and stuff. Like I'm gonna go in and find, you know, every bit of information I can about them and just put it out there. And that kind of thinking can be very dangerous because things happen that's a wildfire waiting to happen. Like it just takes one person to start that. And I'm not, again, like it's not, defending anybody that has been rightfully quote unquote again canceled or anything. Like there's a difference between people being shitty people and people asking for accountability.
Right.
Because that is the main voice behind what cancel culture is currently with what we had talked about last week with the allegations with like sexual misconduct and just mistreatment and racism and misogyny and such. Like the spirit behind that type of cancel culture where people are getting called out is take accountability for what you did and don't say sorry, be better kind of thing, you know? But I mean, I'm sure sorries go some amount of a long way for people, but either way, yeah, we can't make it more clear that we're not trying to say cancel culture is the devil and that it does no good. It's just that, like everything, there are people who go into it with not the purest intentions. And a lot of the times, much like John said, like people you can get 10 compliments, but that one criticism, it sticks. Just like that, like even with all the good that's happening with people that are demanding accountability, there are the people that are out there to just hunt heads.
Yeah, because I would say that, like, yes, it kind of started off, cancel culture started off with like holding accountability, you know, and then it morphed into what it is now. You know, originally it was like part of like the Me Too movement in a way. It's like, you know, like, hey, there are a lot of people that have done a lot of bad and they've hurt a lot of people, but they're trying to pretend like they're not, you know. We need to hold these people accountable. And eventually those people would get the tag that they got canceled, you know. And then from there, it just kind of morphed into this, okay, who else can we cancel? It was like this, I guess people found it like fun or entertaining, just like, yeah, you know, like all of these big names, they're not so big, they're not so clean, you know, they've done bad, I can prove it, you know. And then like everyone goes after anyone and everyone just to prove that, you know, like you say, if you can make God bleed, you have people to cease to believe in them and stuff like that. And personally, when it's like at that point, it's pathetic in a sense, you know. You have two ways of making yourself better, you know. You either work hard, you either acknowledge all the mistakes and wrongdoing you've done in your life, you know, and you work hard and you become better. You apologize, you make amends, and you rectify your actions. And the other one is you tear everyone down, you know. Like, that's it. You either you do it and you work hard, or you just tear other people down so that way you look better and then you feel better. But that's not the same. Like, that's a shitty way to improve yourself, because you're not improving yourself. You're just improving your standing, I guess, which is not that great. And in the end, half the time, it will come back to bite you in the ass, you know? The person that's standing there that, you know, calls out a lot of people eventually is going to have people call back. And, like, it's going to be... I'm sure it's always fun to find a person that's like, hey, look at these people. They're horrible. Like, they're horrible. And this person's horrible. And then everyone's like, okay, look, this is getting a little too out of hand. The fuck have you done? You know, and then everyone starts digging into this, and that person will probably be like, whoa, wait. I've never done any of the things they've done. And, you know, eventually it's what is it? I can't think of it. I'm sure there's an analogy, you know, where it's like, it's one person that's like attacking, but eventually, like, in the same cesspool will eventually also go after, like a dog eat dog, I guess, kind of environment.
Well, it's just
I don't know if it's dog eat dog, but something
more
like
a vicious cycle that you put yourself in. And like you kind of see it on Twitter. Like today, I was going through the tweets for the new Batwoman, which was announced. Oh God, I can't remember her name because I'm not too familiar with her, but let's see. Ruby Rose's replacement, which is not very much true because it's going to be a different character since Ruby Rose stepped out of the role. Javicia Leslie.
I don't know who that
I
is.
guess she is a black actor who I believe, if I'm correct, is part of the LGBTQ community.
Okay.
I was looking through tweets about her and I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this?
Why are you doing it to yourself? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, fuck it. I'm going into the comments. I want to see how shitty people are being about it. And there were a few people, and this kind of stretches into like politics and stuff. When you go into the comments and you see people being shitty people, other people take it upon themselves to go into and just deep dive into that person's account. And it's like, oh, well, this is why you're being a dick. You know, it's like, oh, well, I see why you're being a racist dick and making these comments. Post a picture of their header with like White Lives Matter or some shit, which is an example from that. It's just like, if you're gonna take a swing, you gotta expect to get swung back at,
right?
And that's less of a warning to everybody than it is a warning to trolls. It's like,
no, trolls are probably the number one, like. They're the number ones in the sense that, you know, they're going to be spitting a lot of fucking shit, but like they also have probably the most amount of shit on them because trolls for the most part don't care and they just attack relentlessly. And it's just like, you don't even have any standing to, like, you can't even be like, at least it's because I'm only attacking like these people. No, you're attacking anyone and everyone. That doesn't make you look good. If you at least held a belief, and you were only attacking people that went against that belief, at least then you would look a little bit better. But like, you don't. You just attack. I don't know. But yeah. What was I gonna say? Right.
I don't know.
Or were you done with your thought, or did you want to say anything else?
Oh yeah. I was pretty much. It's just like shitty people being shitty people again.
Yeah.
Don't be. Be cool, man.
Yeah.
Be cool.
Right, that reminds me, like another example of like just people, an example of how cancel culture is not the same as like accountability is like, okay, so this was like a year ago, I don't remember. Basically, there's a lot of YouTube drama again. So you have these two people, James Charles and Tati. I don't remember her last name, but they're these big beauty gurus. And Tati came out the cuts saying a bunch of shit, you know, accusing James Charles of a bunch of random shit. And, you know, like a lot of people have beliefs. I don't like Tati personally. You know, you have this, yes, age doesn't matter, but I think, was that at a certain point you do become a little bit more mature. And when you're a 40-year-old woman attacking on a 19-year-old boy for a lot of shit, it's just like, come on, act your age. Like, again, I don't always say age is everything, but like at some point, like life experiences have to make you a little bit more mature, and you have to be able to reflect and go like, it's like that's like a 20-year-old picking on a 2-year-old or a 1-year-old. Like why do you whatever. Anyways,
I gotta be a dick.
Yeah, all that happened, right? And basically, what sprouted from that was a lot of like YouTube channels, and a lot of these YouTube channels are essentially live counters. And yes, you can have the whole PewDiePie versus T-Series make. You know, that made like live sub count battles like a popular thing on YouTube. But like that doesn't necessarily mean every single one is going to be popular. And obviously with drama, it is going to raise more interest. But essentially all you had at that time was these live channels of sub counts, and you just see Tati's rising, and I think she gained like 5 mil subscribers in like a day or two, and then like James Charles lost like 2 or 3 million, and you just have a lot of people, you know, like rooting for Tati and shitting on James Charles and just so happy that he is losing subscribers, you know. It's just those people aren't canceling. Those people aren't trying. Well, they are canceling, but they're not there for accountability. They're just there so they can be like, look at you. You thought you were so big, untouchable with your 10 mil, whatever fucking mil subscribers, but you're shit, and you can lose it all like that. You know. I don't know what happened. What came of that? I think there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I think it actually came up again recently. More shit, drama, shit. Beauty World always has some drama.
Yeah.
But like, I think most of it was like a lot of people were just like, "Yo, Tati," because like that happened, and then like it came out that like he backed. She had like some like health multivitamin pills that she was doing, and then like he's friends with her, and he just was like, hey, here's some other ones, and then she was not happy with that, and then after this whole thing she pushed a whole new product, so everyone was like, was just this like a campaign thing? The fuck, I don't know. Anyways, not important. But yeah, getting back to it, just like an example of like just one of those things that like, it's not that is cancel culture, but it's not. It's one of those things that makes it look and proves that a lot of it is just like this cesspool of people that really just want to see people hurt and I don't know, just suffer in a way, and that's not the same as accountability, you know. Accountability is completely different, but
yeah, and the way I see it personally, the pure spirit of cancel culture is, or has at least become, not requesting, but demanding that people take responsibility for the actions that they've done in the past. And of course, there's always a shitty part of humanity that's gonna come in here and just fucking ruin it, because they want to stand by their people and give blind faith no matter what. And good for you, I guess. I don't know what to say to you. Like it, at the very least, do due diligence, do your research. Unless you know that this person is 1000% a saint. Like, if someone's calling them out on something, look into it at the very least. If it's bullshit, it won't have a lot of foundation to stand on.
I always hate the ones that I hate the most are whenever I'm like, look, okay, so like a lot of it was like with some of the Shane Dawson stuff, and I would see so many comments that are just like, he always seemed weird to me, and I'm just like, that doesn't, like, what does that have to do? And like at some point you start questioning that, like, okay, guy, you say he seems weird, why is that? Because he did a lot of cross-dressing kind of like stuff back in the day.
Yeah, what exactly are you seeing as red flags?
Right? Yeah, it's like, is it because he's effeminate?
You could be the fucked up one here.
Yeah, no, so that's why I hate when people are just like, oh yeah, he always seemed like weird or cringy or whatever the fuck, and it's just like, now I want to know why you think that, because something, yes, it's an assumption I am making, but it's an assumption based off a lot of people because of the shit that people like Shane Dawson would already get, because he is part of the LGBT community, there's a lot of people that just make these vague comments of like, oh yeah, you're one of those, and it's just like, okay, why are you saying one of those? Because if it's because why I think you are, you're the shitty person. But,
you can get the fuck out of here with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, like I was saying before, like the pure essence of what cancel culture again has started with, or at least has become, is demanding that people take accountability. Like a lot of this started with like Bill Cosby and stuff like that. You know, like yeah, people are gonna stand by Bill Cosby because he was Bill Cosby. You know, he was a lot of people's childhood. People love Bill Cosby. But then the reality of it is that Bill Cosby has been charged with several rapes.
Like actually heinous crimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
and heinous crimes. And it's just like, well, I mean, we're flipping the cancel switch.
Yeah, like I guess that's the other thing, you know,
like that's a good way to go.
Like,
and so, I don't know, there's a certain like, I don't know, I hate to keep going back around, but like yeah, the essence of it is just accountability, man. Like that's the message. That is the Sesame Street message, brought to you by the letter A.
Especially when it's something that, you know, can be rectified with an apology. You know, there are some things that can't be, and I think that's like one of the differences when the only thing that can be, the only way you can be held accountable is through jail time. That's probably something where that's not the same thing as like, hey guys, sorry I said that one word, you know, like that's not really the same, you know. I'm not saying that excuses some of the things that people say. I'm just saying there's in a way there's like tiers and there's levels. Obviously, if like the things that they're saying, the only way to rectify it is with jail time, yeah, you should probably look into that and realize that that person probably is not a great person at all. Now, if they said something else that are words that are offensive and hurtful to another community, yeah, maybe they should lose sponsorships, you know, maybe they should do something. But that doesn't mean that 10 years from now, they can't come back. It just means in the current point in time, maybe they need to take a step back and grow and learn. And that, I think, is one of the key things. Because right now, you have a lot of stuff. So I brought up Shane Dawson, and you can also bring up Kevin Hart, you know. You have a lot of these people that have said a lot of things in their past, and it's being brought up again. And I have a few points that I want to touch on. That is, so the idea of like canceling people, right, is that they have done something or said something that is not what people want to hear anymore, because it doesn't fly. You know, people are like, hey, that shit, it doesn't work anymore. Maybe people were like, yeah, you know, maybe you said some things and some words way back then, and, you know, maybe at the time everyone laughed. Maybe everyone was like applauded, you know, but now we don't do that. Now a lot of people, the general society, has realized we shouldn't have done that. You know, we should have been like, hey, that wasn't right. You shouldn't do that. But the issue is like, these people that have done that, a lot of them have at some point realized and come to terms with that and have said, hey, I hate that person. You know, times are different. I got away with stuff that maybe I shouldn't have. And I hate that. I would never do that again. I am disgusted, you know, that I did that. You have a lot of them that have shown that they have changed in ways. Maybe, I mean, I'm not trying to say like money is the solution, but maybe they did something to a community way back then. And since then they have earned more money, and they've decided, you know, and dedicated a lot more of their time and efforts to donating to that same community that they attacked or hurt in some kind of way. You know, they have done things that prove, like, to show that they have grown past that. And that is the idea of progress, you know, is that you want to make yourself a better person today than you were yesterday. But in order for that to happen, you have to have made mistakes. It's really hard to grow and be better just naturally, I guess, and just by being better. Like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna just be even better today. Like it's hard. But when you make mistakes and stuff like that, uh you have an objective point in time where you can be like, that was bad. I need to make sure I never do that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's easier. You make those mistakes, and then you are then able to come to terms and go like, you know what? I need to be better than that, you know? And that's like one of the fundamental parts of like progress and change. So when people come at you 10 years and 20 years, 5 years later and say, hey, I don't give a shit, I still want to take you down, you're defeating the entire point of everything, you know? Like, it's like you end up making people think, well, what's the point of even changing or being better if in 10 years, even when I have apologized and changed as a person, that shit's still going to be thrown in my face? You know, what incentive do I have to be a better person if it doesn't matter 10 years from now if I've grown? And that was a lot of things I was seeing, like with some of the Shane Dawson stuff, you know, he has apologized so many times. He's apologized. He has done so much stuff. He's discussed how disgusted he is and stuff like that. He's gone to like therapists to figure out the root cause of why he did some of the things that he does. And yeah, maybe some of it had to be, you know, akin to the fact that he was molested at a young age. Maybe it has to do with the fact that he was wrestling with his identity at the time, you know, a lot of things. And it's not necessarily that he's using them as like an excuse, but it more of a, hey, maybe this made me think that I could do things like this, you know? Either way, you have people giving him shit about a lot of things that he said back then, you know, some words that he used. Maybe he might have dressed up in a certain way, or maybe he did a really cringy action, you know? And it's like, I've seen some comments where people are like, he needs to like get off this platform and just grow and learn and become a better person. And I'm like, bitch, you're giving him shit about something that was 8 years ago. How long until he's grown to be a better person? You know, if all the actions between those 8 years have been nothing but like, I hate this, I am disgusted by who I am, I'm trying to be better, I'm doing my best to be better, you know, if that's what those 8 years are, then what the fuck is the point? You know, if you're just gonna come in and go like, he needs to grow, it's like, bitch, that was 8 years ago. You're acting as if that video happened like 2 days ago. Like, it's like some of these people don't realize that like some of these things that they're pointing out was in the past, you know? It was a different person, more or less, you know? You can grow a lot in that time span. You essentially can become a different person. And it's one of the issues I'm having. It's just like, you're claiming that these people need to grow, but it's like they've been doing that for like years. At what point are you satisfied? You know, like I don't know. I think it's so weird. I think it's stupid for people to be like they need to grow when it's just like that's literally all they've been doing. You have visual proof on YouTube, on evidence of them coming out and saying, I hate this, I need to do better, I will do better, kind of stuff. And it's just like, but apparently none of that fucking matters. Because all you want to do is tear these people down for like the shit they did 8 years ago. And
and none of this is to say for you to not hold any reservations against someone who you feel was a shitty person at a time and is saying that change has been made, but for you that's not good enough. Like, sure, yeah, everybody's gonna take it out how it is, but like you're free to hold your reservations. Like, don't get me wrong, I have some people who I'm just like iffy on, celebrity or otherwise, like it's just like, you know what, whatever, I'm gonna take a step away from you, and you know, when I come back, if if people say you've been better, okay, maybe I'll, take little bites at what you're putting out, but and I don't know. Like people are you're allowed to feel your feelings. We're not no one's allowed to stop you from doing that. And if they're trying, then fuck them. So be sure hold any reservations against a person who you feel has wronged you, like your morals or anything, I guess. Whether you give that person a second chance or not, or at any point a third, fourth, whatever, that's entirely up to you. You're gonna feel how you feel. But everybody's gonna feel different.
Right.
So in regards to what you're saying, like I think there'll be times where, say, someone caught on to, well, maybe not caught on to, but it's like someone saw something of, for example, Shane Dawson's 5-6 years ago when he was still being cringeworthy.
Right.
Or I don't watch Shane Dawson, so I don't know what's going on in the past 5-6 years. But
right, that's fair.
Say something a long time ago, and they're like, I don't really like that. That's I don't find that cool. That I'm not gonna pay attention to you. And then they take a break from them and come back during this time. It's like, oh, Shane Dawson's in the news again. It's like, what the fuck, I've heard he made apology videos, but apparently, like, it's not like, staying out of the loop on someone like that. You're right, but it's also gonna keep you out of the loop. Which right. I would cut a break for people that are out of the loop because they chose to drop it at some point. But I don't know. It's always such a iffy thing, man. Like,
I guess
there's
that
like I don't know, like, because when we live in the world where a lot of things are coming to light because of social media, and it's hard for people to bounce back when they've been canceled, and it's most probably for a good reason. Like the word, I don't know. I feel like, and I hate to be the one to say this, but I feel like sorry is starting to lose its power.
But I was gonna say, when you were saying the other thing, like if they drop out and then they hear it again, like, yeah, you're entitled to, or you have the ability to be like, yeah, I don't probably, I didn't like the guy back then. He might not have changed. That's fine and all. I'm just, to what you said earlier, I think holds a big part of it is like, okay, that's fine. If you don't like that, sure. But if you're going to try fueling the flame and trying to convince other people like, oh yeah, like, I didn't like him. I dropped out and he's a shitty person. You shouldn't watch him. He's a shitty person. Everyone attack this guy. If you're going to be that, don't do that. If you're going to be that person, at least do your due diligence. Do your homework. Like if you're like, yeah, like, okay, like, he says he's apologized. Okay, how did he apologize? Maybe give him a little chance. Look into like what are the things that he's done, to try to rectify that. And then look at what are the accusations now, and if they're the same, or if they're anything like that. I guess that's my thing is, don't just bandwagon for the sake of bandwagoning. Do your homework. If you're gonna claim something for yourself, that's fine. But if you're going to be doing something, it kind of comes down to like what we were talking about last time. I don't remember what episode it was, but if you have a platform, even of yourself, even if it's small, and you're going to be spouting your ideas about a certain person, do your homework, because people will bandwagon off of you, even if you're small. Doesn't matter. It still happens.
And I think it's important to say, and I don't mean to make it seem like I'm prioritizing wrongdoings over others, because that's not my intention. But we're mainly meaning this in a lot of like low grade cancels.
Oh yeah,
like
of
low
course.
grade cancellations, like where people understandably have the ability to take time and away from things and to learn and to listen to people around him.
Mhm.
If you're being canceled because let's throw Donald Trump in the mix. If you're being canceled for literally everything that this fucking Muppet, I am sorry for offending Muppets, but if you're getting canceled for everything that this man has done, then I'm sorry. You're like, well, I'm not sorry. You're fucked. You're fucked. Like I would be surprised if anyone trusted you.
Yeah.
Like you would have to move to another country for things to be relatively okay for you. If
start your own island.
If you like, if there is proof, or if there is someone coming out saying, like, if there was a woman that came out and said that you called it a C word and the entire fucking internet sets you on fire, then you can apologize for that. You can talk it out with that person. Yeah, you're gonna get some shit, but you can step away, learn, and just be like, it's like, I know that is wrong. I know that it wasn't her job to teach me that's wrong.
I think that word is mainly an American offense, or holds more offensive terms here in America. I get your point. I'm just saying, like, it's a little bit...
America's stupid, but either way.
Yeah.
But it's like, you can come out and apologize. Like, like I don't know. I've never been in that situation, but it's just like, you can come out and say you're sorry, that you've taken some time, you've learned, that you've talked to the person that you've hurt, that you're listening to the feedback that you're getting. And then you can bounce back from that. That's what I mean by like low grade.
Yeah,
canceling.
No.
Because what we're saying now is like does not apply to like you are a fucking shitty person.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. There was something else I was gonna say. Fuck. I don't remember. But let's see. Yes, everything you said was right. Fuck, what was the thing I was saying right before you got? I think that was...
I don't know.
Because I've been saying a lot of Shane Dawson. I'm just saying him in general. Again, this, like, Kevin Hart was another example. He said some things back then. Oh, right. I know what I was going to say. Kind of like Kevin Hart and Shane Dawson or any other person, it is their jobs to push the edge is the other thing, Kevin Hart is a comedian, they need to make, granted, yeah, like, good comedians are always going to be able to know, but like, it kind of comes with the territory. Their jobs are kind of to push the edge. As a YouTuber or a social media influencer in any kind of way, or creator, it's kind of your job, if you at least want to stay relevant and have a following, to stay relevant. You need to keep up with what's going on, and you need to be able to stay in the spotlight, more or less. And in some cases where you have like YouTubers, it's like, you're constantly pushing out information every day. Like, you are letting a lot of people into your own life, because sometimes that's what people want. Like, that's the content they're really looking for. They want to know more about you and your life, your private life. And it's just that when you're in this area where your job is to push the boundaries every single time in order to stay relevant, or just let people into your everyday life and show them everything, you're bound to slip up. Or at the very least, you're bound to show someone or say something that people are going to take offense to in some capacity. Like, you could have like a very humble, very honest, genuine family vlog, like this couple that seems great, does everything. They could literally do one thing that a small group of people don't agree with when raising a child, and then all of a sudden you have a whole fucking cancel thing. That's kind of like what we're getting at. Like, maybe you just, yeah, okay, here's the thing. Say you're raising your kid. You have a family vlog, right? You cuss. You will have a heated debate about whether or not you should be able to cuss in front of your children, or if it is a bad thing to cuss in front of your children. And that's why I'm saying, like, you're letting so many people into your lives and showing them everything. You're at some point, either you're bound to slip up, or you're bound to do something or say something that people are going to find controversial. And it doesn't necessarily mean that those people are bad. It just means people are fucking out there to get anyone, if anything. Because I'm not saying that, like, teaching your kids to, not necessarily teaching your kids to cuss, but cussing in front of your kids is a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I don't know what the fucking stats are on that. I probably think it doesn't really matter. I don't think it, I tend to believe that they're just words. That's just me.
A little bit of background on John. We do not cuss in front of his father.
Yeah, we do not. I don't cuss in front of my dad. I was raised to never cuss as a child, and for a while in high school, I had a mouth of a sailor. Like, I've toned down, but like
very much so.
Yeah, like, but I don't think it matters in the end. That's just my personal belief. I mean, for that subject, like, it just more what really determines is just how you raise your kid. That's it. If you raise a kid that to respect everyone, they're not gonna cuss them out. You know, like it doesn't, whatever. Point is, that's the kind of thing that's with actors, comedians, YouTubers, any of these
people who put
things.
themselves in the public on display for the public.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, like, they're bound to do something or say something that people aren't going to agree with. It doesn't make them bad. It just,
and to be totally fair, comedy is like a whole other conversation.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah.
We don't have time to get into that one, because that is, you know, pushing what is considered okay for the sake of comedy, and what's not. Like, that's a discussion that's been being had for so long already. And it's like you can have comedy without, you know, being self-deprecating. You can have comedy without attacking other people. You can also have comedy with both of those things, and there will still be an audience that are going to lose their fucking minds. And honestly, that, you know, that's for me personally. I don't think I'm equipped enough to have that conversation, but you're right. When people that put themselves in the public light like that, someone's gonna find something, and it's hard, but it's worth understanding. And again, not making excuses for anything. That is not my intention. It's worth understanding that everybody sucks at some point.
Yeah,
everybody sucks at some point.
I was gonna say,
yeah,
I think it's another thing with these people that are putting themselves in the spotlight. It's kind of like why they marry, or their partners also do the same, you know, because anyone that doesn't do that doesn't really know. Like, and this can go back to the whole Laura Bailey stuff, you know, and what we were saying is just they are getting shit all the time for things that they do. And yeah, you're probably going to find a partner that can relate. You're more than likely not going to find someone that has another partner if they're both in the spotlight. Like, you're probably not going to find someone that's in the spotlight that has a partner that also isn't, you know, because they're looking for someone that can understand where they're coming from, where every waking day they're getting shit for someone, or for something that they did, or whatever the fuck, as an act, as a character, or just because, like I said, they put so much in their spotlight, everyone wants to give them shit for something, you know? Maybe you held something wrong and people want to give you shit like that. Maybe you dressed weird. people want to give you shit. Like, it's a constant shitstorm for these people, and it makes sense why they stick to people that also can relate, because like people that aren't dealing with that, they don't fucking know. They don't know what it's like to get shit for literally the smallest of fucking things. And yeah, sometimes it's for really big things. That's fair. But again, it's also for like small things, like people just didn't like your character. Shit like that. Like, I don't know. I just wanted to also throw that in there. Like, it's probably why like probably some of them seclude themselves and back each other up. It's just like the plebes will never understand. the commoners or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Normies.
I don't know, man. A lot of the times I just kind of sit down and I just think like people are weird, man. People, the society that we've created for ourselves or has been created for us, it's outrageous. It's completely outrageous, and we're supposed to be the smartest fucking things on the planet. Well, yeah, coming up fast is computers, but we're supposed to be like the greatest things on Earth. And the fact that I can say that means that I, as a human being, am full of shit, because we are terrible people. And sometimes I just kind of had to sit and just think like, the world is so messy because we are so full of ourselves, and we can't just like be cool, man. We can't just be cool to each other and you be excellent to each other. Listen to Bill and Ted.
Be most excellent.
Oh man, and I don't know, like, and I think it's worth saying that, like, personally, I am not a perfect person.
No,
I'm not a perfect person. If you
look at his hair,
if you either have listened to our previous stuff or you're just an OG, which means you're one of our friends or you're one of us, then we've talked about this before. Like I think it's like episode 2. It might have been like the first episode I was on. We've talked about social media before and how we were so stupid as kids.
Oh yeah.
We were so stupid as kids. I look back in my Facebook posts recently, and thank God I didn't say anything that is even remotely what I thought would. It wasn't as bad as I thought. I think the worst thing I said was that Teen Wolf, the TV series, sucks. And I was like, okay, that's not bad, but I'm not really trying to hide stuff that I've been a terrible person. I've said terrible things that I now look back at, and that is not the person that I know. That is not the person that my partner knows. That is not the person that my friends know who I am now. There's a lot of stuff that we look back on and it's like, I didn't say that. I didn't do that. And people are like, no, yeah, you did. And it's like, fuck, I don't even, like, that is a memory that I have jettisoned into the vacuum of space.
Yeah.
Because that is not the person who I am anymore. And it's not a fantastic reasoning, but a lot of it had to do with because we were fucking kids and we were terrible kids who grew up in my opinion, a terrible community. But that's no excuse for
harsh.
Yeah, harsh. That's no excuse for continuing that course of action when you are of an age that you can take in the information in the world and like, oh, I probably shouldn't say the N-word, hard R or not, which some people back home still have. They're still figuring that out.
Right.
And it's like, it very much things that I regret, very much things that I am not proud of, very much things that I definitely have apologized for 1,000 times over. And I don't know, like if people hate me for it, then I like, that's I I understand, but also, like I would hope that you would get the chance to know the person I am today.
Mm-hmm.
Because I tell Alma like periodically, it's like for various different reasons, if I were to talk to 17-year-old me, I would not recognize myself because it complete fucking 180.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't know. I don't know. It's such a weird line to walk of like I don't know when are you allowed to be forgiven for things that you've done in the past? And a lot of the times, sometimes you're not, and you have to learn to be okay with that.
Yep.
But it's depending on the severity of things. Like that is your action. That is something you did, no matter what your excuses were. To me personally, I believe that is something that is a part of your history. What matters,
but that doesn't define you.
most is what you do with that failure.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think
you
that's...
must acknowledge it. You must make strides to put yourself away from that.
Yeah.
Because if you believe that that's not the person you are, then you need to show it.
Yeah. And yeah. I think that is like a fair way of putting it. It's like, if you made those mistakes, don't let that define you for the rest of your life. You can own up to those mistakes. You can accept that that was like something that you did, and then you can work on being better and trying to never make those mistakes again and trying to rectify them. Because yeah, I guess some closing thoughts, I guess, on all of this is just like going back to like how I said, it's like it defeats the idea of progress to judge people on their past, on who they were. In order to accept that progress is being made, you need to accept that they are working on bettering themselves, on being a different person, and maybe everyone has different ways of showing that progress, of showing that change. You just need to, I guess, at least acknowledge that people are doing, that there are some people that are there that are actively working or taking steps to being a better person. And you have to acknowledge that and accept that, because if you shit on them or you deny that ability, that sends a message to those people and others that, it doesn't matter if you work on yourself. It doesn't matter if you change. It doesn't matter if you've done a 180, because in the end, everything's going to come back up and you're going to get ruined. And that's not a great mentality. That you're in an area where every single waking day is you're walking on eggshells and trying to watch every single action. And in reality, no one's perfect. Everyone's going to make mistakes, big and small. And you have to accept that, and you have to just work on being the best that you can be. And if you make a mistake, own it, recognize it, work better, or work on being better. That's pretty much it. There was one other thing I was going to say. Real quickly, Daniel, do you have anything to say to that while I try to think of what I was going to say?
Not really. I mean, again, this is the Sesame Street episode brought to you by the letter A. It's take accountability. Like that. That is if there's anything that we want people to take from this episode, it's the difference between accountability and just and I mean that's it. Just know when I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Yes, Jen?
Oh no, I just kind of remember what I was going to say. The closing thought that I had was it's not, also just know that it's not bad to go against mob mentality. You're not a bad person because you want to stick up for a person. You know, like if you have cancel culture coming out the cuts and saying this person's horrible, they're trying to get canceled for something small, that doesn't make you a bad person for sticking up for that person. Like a lot of people are like, how could you ever like stick up for this person? It's like, well, because I believe that they have changed, you know? I believe that they have grown as an individual and are no longer that person anymore. That doesn't make you a bad person, you know? I guess that was like my main thing. It's just like, you know, mob mentality is real, and a lot of people like attacking anyone and everyone, and anyone that tries to go against them, they attack them as well. Or if like, you know, you see things like, it's like, how could you be friends with this person that has these other views, these horrible views, or that did this one thing 80 years of fucking ago or whatever the shit. And it's just like, because that's not what I hold to be important, you know? Like, I know that they've worked hard. I know that they've changed, or maybe, you know, maybe what they're being attacked for is their political opinion, but politics doesn't make everything a person is, you know? There are other parts to being human and other parts to being a person. And just because you're with someone or friends with someone that disagrees with you politically doesn't make them or you a bad person. You guys just have different beliefs, but you guys can still be good people, you know? That was just like my main like closing thing. And it's just at some point, I guess maybe people should start looking into the negatives that all this mob mentality, cancel culture has, and maybe just start canceling cancel culture in that sense. Not like the good beneficial parts, but the idea where it's like the whole break everyone down kind of thing. That needs to be looked at through a different lens at some point, I guess.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the world to end.
Well, we're coming close. I mean, we're halfway there, and every day we get a little bit closer, and every day you guys get a little bit closer to the next episode of the TopCup podcast. Because for today, this episode is over. So
that was perfect, John.
I know it was a great segue. I am nailing these segues. I'm the best host. I know. Leave a comment down for who's the best host. I know it's me, so you don't even need a comment. I'll take your non-comments as a form of admitting that I'm the best host. Yeah. This has been another episode of the TopCup podcast. I have been your host, John Avias, joined by my coaster, Danny Rayo. Yes.
I cut my hand.
Oh yeah. Fuck you. If you like what you heard, and have any thoughts or any opinions, whether you or not you agree or disagree with any of us, maybe comment down below. Leave your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you. If so, you want to hear more from us, consider leaving a like so we know what to continue talking about. Leave a subscribe or follow us for any future updates. You can find us at on any like any podcasting platforms and here on YouTube. If you want to follow us on social media, you can find us at TopCup Vids at at Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. I don't know about Facebook. Okay. I'm just gonna, yep. And if you want to follow us individually, you can find me at Clingy Mite and at John Oevitas on Twitter and Instagram. I don't post, but maybe I really should. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I also want to do Twitch.
Maybe if more people went on his social media, he would post more.
Maybe, yeah. And you can find Daniel over at Your Buddy Danny on all social media, because he's not a piece of shit that makes it complicated and hard to find himself. He's pretty easy. You can find him. He has a big target on his back. Go after him.
I tried very hard. I want you to find me.
Links for all of that down below in the description. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. yeah, Daniel, it's been a pleasure. Hopefully next week and the following weeks we'll have a lot more cheery and more lighthearted conversations. These past week or two has just been, there's been a lot of shit going on. So like we just wanted to comment and throw in our 2 cents on everything. But yeah, thank you for everything, Daniel.
Be cool, everybody.
Send us out.
Love each other. John. Love you,
Yeah, I know.
You guys out there? Love you guys. Be cool. Stay safe. Wear a mask.
And don't be
God
stupid,
sakes.
stupid.
Don't be stupid.